as it gets uploaded to our drive. And we should be good to go. So, like I said, thank you all for joining. Let me share our presentation. All right. Can you all see that? Barry, Dirk, Rasad, this look
Yes.
good? Okay. Thank you all for joining our API Shrimp Farmer Seminar geared for Thailand this time. We've had a really good series with these, and we are really excited to share some information with you guys all today. So we have a lot of really good information from our speakers, Danny and VJ. So I want to make sure that they all have enough time to go over all their information. The one thing I will ask for everyone on the call, just please remain muted. We do have a question and answer section at the end of the presentation. You guys all submitted questions and topics, so we're all very good. And I want to make sure that we give those the right amount of time at the right time. So please hold any questions or thoughts till the end of the presentation so we can make sure all the information that our speakers want to go through, they're able to. So with that being said, please use the chat if you do have anything that you want to say. Barry and Durga Prasad are monitoring. If there's anything else that you want to say, just send them a message to the side maybe. We just want to cut down distractions and interruptions to a minimum at these. But aside from that, we will continue to move forward. So API Shrimp Farmer Seminar for Thailand, Maximizing Profits for Farmers. A little bit about API and who we are, right? So we have our breeding program, which many of you are familiar with, some of you are not. In essence, what we do at API are select animals, and we prioritize for the high survival rates, and then we select for growth. So these high survival rates, if your animal doesn't last throughout your entire growth cycle, then you're probably not going to have a productive harvest at the end of it. Back in our farm in Florida, we have high genetic diversity, which ensures outbreeding as opposed to inbreeding. So that allows us to pick animals from X family, Y family, and be able to give you guys a good cross determined on your specifications for your farm, your water, your feed schedule. Now, the offspring that we select are well suited for the environment. So if you guys are dealing with a high salinity environment, we have statistics and data on animals that have performed well in those previous environments. So when we send you an animal, we can give you one that we believe will give you the best starting point for your production. We do pre-select for new challenges to produce offspring that are more adaptable to different elements. Of course, things are always changing, and we're going to talk about that as we move forward. But in essence, our breeding program, we are looking for survival. We want to make sure farmers have animals that can make it throughout the entire production cycle, and that is where our focus lies. Now, I have a little bit about the API Dragon line here. I don't want to get too deep into it because Danny's presentation is actually going to be revolving a lot around how the API Dragon line has done in Thailand. So I want to make sure he has plenty of time and can talk about his experience with the animals. But here are just some of the things that we are, of course, highlighting from the past. And so Danny is actually going to have some new updated information for us. But in the past, we saw Thailand have really high heat. And so we saw a lot of ponds struggle with that. The API animals did really, really well when it came to high temperatures. So when you look at climate change or anything like that, it's going to continue to fluctuate, and you need an animal in those ponds that is built to survive these fluctuations in weather, right? So it looked like our API Dragonline did a very good job of handling that a few months ago. Of course, these animals are bred for high survivability, strong hatchery fecundity, and uniform growth. Specifically, the uniformity that we were seeing and the sizes were all doing well for Thailand and what their processors and buyers were looking for. The color is actually one of the main things that the processors were looking at with the API Dragon line as well. Very deep, bright red. And so, like I said, these are general statistics that we have. I'm very excited to hear what Danny has to say about his presentation. And so I will not dwell too much longer on this. We will move forward, and I will now introduce our speakers. So we have Mr. Vijay Kumar Kalapalli, who has his farm in Belize right now, who is currently stocking API. And then we also have Danny, who is very familiar with the API animal. So how about we start with Danny? Are you available to share your screen, Danny? Make sure he is on here. Danny? Perfect.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining. Can you see my screen?
Yep, I see it.
Okay. Thank you for joining. I would like to telling my story like this. First of all, I have to thank for all of our team, especially for the organizer, Mr. Robert Pearl, who are son of our founder, Robin Pearl, the founder of the API line. Uh, I would like to start like this. The topic is farming API record line in Thailand. I would like to start about introducing myself. I'm a trim technician from Thailand, working in this industry for 28 years. I used to farm the trim before during the past like 70s until 7 years ago. After I tried for a while, I decided to quit because it's quite difficult to manage and need very high attention to spend the time very closely with the trim, and due to my job and not be able to do that. Then I decided to quit after some time. But recently I found a new line coming to Thailand. It's named API. After studying and okay, there's a chance of myself to be a interpretation for the speech of founder Robin several times. So I become more and more confident. And in the meanwhile, I have my own concept to culture the trim. I have a question, something like in Thailand, why we need to use a lot of technique and too much technical way in order to harvest or farm a trim. Why farmer in the past, like 30 years ago, they are very easy to run the farm. So I challenge my doubt. Is it possible for us to farm the shrimp with absolute natural way? This is the original concept from my side. And I found some group of people, 2, 3 people, when I'm talking with them. Actually, they are not a farmer. They are doing something else like ornamental fish before. They don't have a background of shrimp and they interest to shrimp. I talk with them, try to explain a mechanical way, systematic thinking, logic thinking about shrimp farming. So finally, this group of people agree with me to try by my concept. So we do a fully brief and plan. I can say that up to about 4 months, just only talk and plan until everyone understand the idea completely. Actually, everyone in my meet is just only one family, uh, father, mother's, daughter, and son-in-law. So all of them agree with my idea, my concept. And then we start, okay, the first phase, we have a farm located in Prachuap Khiri Khan. Actually, that place is my hometown. So they are quite my relative or my like quite far sibling. So we start with these 3 points first, 1, 2, 3, and we just do something. Okay, now I would like to tell you that now we decide this photo taken about a week ago. We decide to extend into on number 4, number 5. So definitely that means we are success. Otherwise, we will not extend the farm, right? But the story is quite long. Let's start like this. Why I choose API? Definitely in Thailand there are 4, 5, or 6, or even up to 7 breeding line able to source out from the market. But when I look at API and decide to choose API because of currently what the problem that we're facing in the shrimp industry, not just only in Thailand, we're facing the production cost problem, we're facing the disease outbreak problem, we're facing the climatic problem, investment budget. Okay, this is my problem. My problem is we have quite few or less investment budget, and there are many farmers facing some issue about success rate. I can say that maybe we heard about Ecuadorian people success rate more than 80%, but the other country people, they have a success rate like a 60%, 50%. So we don't want to miss. We don't want to miss every time we invest the budget. And since we have quite a few budget, we need to make sure that every budget that we invest into the pond, we need to get back at least. In the worst case, we just need them get back. If lucky, or we running something good, we expect the profit, but we cannot accept the losses. That's why. And I got a problem about working skill also. Actually, in the shrimp farm, one of the big issue in Thailand and so many countries as well, they cannot find a good skilled people who are able to rely on, trustable, and able to handle the farm well. If some owner of the farm able to find such people, definitely the farmer are very happy, very easy to run the farm. This is very important. But my team, we can say that everyone are new. And the selling price at the moment when we start to run the farm about October last year, we also facing some issue about the selling price at the moment is very low. So we have to start up with the base of thinking that the selling price is only this price. So we have to try to make sure that production cost lower than that. And the market demand at the moment, they're looking, to many processing plant. They need a thick shell trim. They need a tough trim that able to, this one is getting better color, better price, tough enough, able to chew the trim for a long way, a long time to reach out to the factory and boil them there and get a good color. The good color in the meat is more than 25 by thermofan. So when I look into the detail, there are no such a light available in Thailand can keep such a color, only API. And another things that I have to think first, foresee first that once I have a poor working skill and my team are poor experience, to zero experience, definitely water quality will be a problem in the future, soon future, second month, third month. Then on data together, I decide that, okay, what we need a low production cost, higher resistance, higher endurance for the disease outbreak, and climatic problem. And the investment budget have to be slowly start, not immediately with big amount of money, 1 million baht in order to run one pond. But we would like to start just only 100,000 baht to run one pond, for example. And the success rate, I prefer as high as possible. And the farm have to be able to run with very at easy as possible as it can be. So because we have a poor operation process, we not have a good skill, not have a good experience, and the selling price, okay, we think that, okay, is it possible to get a good price, similar price or better price? We have to try to control the investment budget and the production cost from my side. And the trim have to be very red, very strong, and maybe we need a slow growth to answer this question. And water quality, maybe high ammonia, high nitrite. Most of the line in Thailand suffering from like a 4 ammonia, 5 nitrite, or like a 0.2, 0.05 ppm of hydrogen sulfide. They will easy to die. So we need a line of regime that can survive in a higher pollution than the other line. So the answer is API. That's why it become API. My farm, we start with limitation. I can say with limitation, I have low budget. I have some concept. My concept is I don't want to use anything. To anything at all in my beginning concept. So we do the pond construction like everyone do. After that, we just fill in the water via a fine filtration to make sure that we not get a fish there. And we expect that this fine filtration may be able to screen off the fish egg as well. But okay, we're not that much serious. And then we just run aerator full for 15 days. No chlorination, no disinfectant, no fish killer, no insecticide, no lambing, nothing at all. We're stocking the shrimp with the 48 shrimp per square meter. We expect to harvest something like a 40 shrimp per square meter. That is our plan. And totally we have 3 pond. The size of the pond is something like this. We install just only 2 horsepower with 12 paddle wheel, 4 and 5 arms per pond. Actually, we have 3 pond. And we do no water exchange, no chemical application at all, no antibiotic. Actually, we also plan for no probiotic as well. But the problem we're facing is we finally found a super series of hydrogen sulfide burst out in the pond. And in emergency case like that, there are no any product that can help to save, just only pond detox from Novonesis company. So I decided to buy pond detox 1 kilogram for 3 pond and use it only few pack, I mean to 1 pack only. Then my problem is solved. But why my problem is coming with hydrogen sulfide? That because of the story that I will going to tell your people later. This is my own experience. I running the farm myself, so I can tell everything. No disclose. No mineral, no vitamin, nothing at all. Just only run aerator and feeding, run aerator and feeding. We do manual feeding, and during the culture, we get through around 10 days of the pond water at the bottom rising up to 34.6 degrees Celsius, and at the middle of the water 35 degrees Celsius, at the surface 37 degrees Celsius. Oh my God, I think that your people never experienced such a heat like this before. I think in India, Indonesia, Thailand, and Vietnam, we're suffering from the same thing. So we not expect for this, just only pray. Every day I pray, please, hopefully that tomorrow Chim not die. And I heard the story of my neighbor pond. There are about 30 something pond nearby. We are friends. We heard from them that, oh my God, my shrimp already floating, and we have to quit the pond. We have to harvest. We lost the shrimp. When I reached to 30 DOC, most of my friends are around 40 DOC. They are lost. They are lost. They are lost. When I reached to 60 DOC, I can say that around 30 pond nearby my farm are over. No one can survive because after the heavy temperature, it followed by the heavy rainfall around 23 day continuously. We put the button under the open air to collect the water and try to identify how much of the rainwater are filling, how many millimeter. It's like a 300 millimeter, 400 millimeter, and full the bottle. So we finally decide not to do anything because actually at the moment, everyone feeling that okay, we accept the loss. We are okay if we're going to lose, no problem, because we never expect such a heavy rain continuously like that, and our pond are very new, so the new soil leach out by the rains and make our water become a muddy color, very muddy color. I can say that when we dip the sekidit into the pond, only 2 centimeter or 3 centimeter, the sekidit will disappear because of the muddy. So at the moment, all my team are said that okay, we are under the bad luck, so we accept the loss. But however, every day when we try to examine the shrimp, we still found the shrimp that very strong, very strong. Even they not eat for a period of time like 6-7 days, but they still jumping very fast. I walking into the pond myself. I got I think more than 100 wound. A small wound or a small scar. I got a bleeding because the shrimp jump hit me with the rostrum, right, and caused me a, a small wound and sick bleeding. When I get out from the pond, I have to spray entire my body with iodine spray to make sure that all the wounds are being killed with the right disinfectant. And yeah, totally 32 pond. They are quit and they start the second crop. And you know that when we going to harvest, all of my friends pond 30 net 32 net pond already fully harvest with lost too. They cannot run the farm more than 60-70 days because two serious problem, heavy heat and heavy rainfall. And until now, they are very serious now too. But my shrimp still continue growing, sometimes slow growth, sometimes we give them wrong feed because they not eat. But our feeder, they are no experience, unable to examine whether the shrimp eat or not. They still feeding until we got the hydrogen sulfide bloom and the water turn to be super dark and then collapse. A lot of foam bubbles surfacing on the surface of the pond until cover almost 30% of the pond surface. Something like that will be facing. And I do examine, I found, okay, hydrogen sulfide is there. Then decide to apply this product one sec, 200 gram per pond. And immediately on, the problem are solved. So, and this I don't know how to call, they are concrete, right? They always there in every shrimp farm. And when there are no other farm, actually in my farm, they are not come. This bird not come to my farm because it's quite difficult to find a shrimp to eat. I used to use a telescope to watch them with, oh my God, with a mercy, because they dive into the pond and come up. They dive into the pond and come up. Sometimes even up to 20 rounds, they still cannot get one shrimp. And this is the reason why at the beginning they are not there in my farm, because it's easy to find the shrimp in other farm than my farm. But when my farm, when the other farm are over, they cannot find from the other farm. They come to my farm, and they try so hard. So I took pity on them. They dive in 20 rounds, they get one shrimp. 15 rounds, they get one shrimp. So it's very difficult for them. When I look at them at another farm, they just die in about 2 to 5 times to get one shrimp. So, okay, I let them do that because it helps to collect the bad shrimp. Definitely every pond will have a bad shrimp, the weak shrimp, the sick shrimp. Then they can help to collect away and go, take it away. So save my pond. Okay, this is a crop outcome. This is after harvest, the photo after harvest. Actually, I have a full photo, but I have no time to uh, take it out from many sources. Yeah. So area of my farm is something like this: square meter, water depth. I don't do much water depth at the moment because I have a problem of water shortage. And this is stocking density, the DOC, the first crop we harvest first, because there are one buyer, they need a shrimp and they are friends, very close friend, a sibling of my partner. And another 2 pond, we're running up to 136 days. And at the moment, we're going to harvest that because of we decide to go for another round. And the shrimp still continue growing, but the size is not that very good because we're facing a lot of issue during the culture, like wrong feeding, heavy rain, heavy temperature, hydrogen sulfide, plankton crab, everything all together. So the size is not that very good. But however, I do believe that if we can operate the farm well and without unexpected interruption, climatic problem or issue, I believe that the site can go better than this. FCR quite high. That because of one of my feeder, they do the wrong calculation, and at the moment I'm not free to follow up closely. So we got this problem. The survival rate, this is considering very good. I can say that if I check for those 32 pond who are harvest before me, no one can get the survival rate up to this level. No one at all. The maximum one can get just only 56, and the rest is just only 40 to 50. That's because of super serious climate, as mentioned before. The production is not high. The color is also not that good to my pond because it's very heavy muddy pond. So for my pond, it's just only some experience. And when we look into the detail of my pond, we can assume that, okay, we are success. Why we are success? Because no one in my team are experienced people, and the pond are very new. We break through a very serious condition that all the other pond in the nearby area and even in the whole country, we can say that the last crop, the previous crop, is a failed crop for everyone. But we still able to harvest and can cover all the budget that we invest. So everyone very happy because we found, okay, a good or a better future now. So we got a good conclusion, like this API line, Dragon line, under almost 100% free from nothing, like a supernatural way, we have a good survival rate. But we need to improve the feeding technique. We get the wrong idea. Why I say that I do something wrong and not follow up closely. I will explain later by this page. I think that the deeper water are better than the shallow water. But last crop, I think that our shrimp are tough, so no problem. We have shorted water because we start at the summer season. The water in every creek, every area is quite less, but very high salinity. I mean, in my area is quite fresh water color. I got the salinity up to 18 salinity, 20 salinity. So because of that, I agree with very low water level. And I would like to say that it's easy to farm than any line in Thailand. Why I say this? Because in my team, the only person who having farming knowledge is myself, but I never stay at the farm. I I visit the farm all together during the farming. I can say that totally around 10 hours only. During the farm, this farm is running. I operate via CCTV, phone call, and live group. But my shrimp still able to harvest even up to 136 days. That is, no one can do that. And I found the data. One thing that we fail. Okay, I said that we running the farm for 15 days, right? Running the aerator for 15 days for free. Actually, we plan to initiate the natural food, but we fail because the natural food already gone. As your people may know that the red blood or the bloodworm, they have a period of time after they are uh, from the cocoon, right? They will be about 5 to 7 days. Then we will fly out as some type of the mosquito. So we stocking the shrimp on the day that a bloodworm change into a fly. So we lost them. We lost them. So natural food, if we can get those natural food, I do believe that we can get better size than this. So what we do the wrong, our API line growth rate quite lower than the other line. For example, like I have a conclusion. For example, like 40 DOC, our trim are only about 4 to 5 gram. 4 to 5 gram only. But sometimes many farmer they use another table and 40 DOC the trim size up to 6 gram or 7 gram. So the number of the feed, the amount of the feed or the size of the feed, they use this size. And for my farm, I faced an issue at around 70 something DOC. Normally our trim around 80 DOC, around 80 DOC. The size of the shrimp will be somewhere around say 13, 14 grams, something like that. And at the moment, they need to go for the feed number 4 and the feed kilogram per day around 28 kilogram per day. This level I extract from the data of some other farmer in the previous crop. But due to my farm facing superheat during this period of time, and until around the DOC 20 something onward, until DOC 50 something, heavy rain continuously for 20 something day. So the growth rate are much lower than this at the moment. But the my feeder still stick on this number. Okay, that is my fault. Actually, I cannot complain them. For example, like 80 DOC, my trim still just only 11 gram. 11 gram or 10 gram only. So they my feeder keep a feed number 4 with 28 kilogram per day. But at 11 gram, suppose that this number, we have to give it only number 4S and 22 kilogram per day. So you can see that the amount of the feed are around 6 kilogram diff per day per 100,000. This is the reason why my FCR are running quite high and until causing the water pollution. However, even we are fail like that, we still able to break through until we got harvest, not a forced harvest. We have a soft harvest. We have a happy harvest because people buyer come to our farm, examine the trim, and after that they bid the price together. So we quite get a good price. So that is a conclusion from my farm. But we got a data for many farmer. For example, like one farmer running with 375 trim per square meter, 71 DOC. They can harvest 70 cow. Sorry, I forget to put here 70 cow. And they get a color up to 26 to 20, 28, 29 with a brown color water. And they chew the trim and delivery for 100 kilometer, 700,000 trim with 100 kilometer traveling. There are zero mortality, for example, and the color is like this. And there are so many cases. We can make a conclusion that during the last crop, I heard from many farmers that altogether, I got this data from API Thailand team. So they found that a farmer can get super success, 60%, medium success around 15%, fair success around 15%, and losses, some farmer lost around 10%. When people say that, oh, why not 100%? This is exactly aquaculture business. None of the breeding line can give you 100% success. Never happened before in the world. Generally, they can give you around 50% success only. And another 50% you have to take a risk by yourself. This is the reason why our aquaculture business still fascinated for everyone, because it's like a gamble. It's like a gamble. It's not that easy. Sometimes you run everything, operate everything very perfect, but there are some unexpected things happen, like a heavy rain, superheat, like I mentioned before. And because of that, during the past crop, I can say that the other line, the success rate average around 50% only, but for API line, it's around 90%. Sentin, hello, sir. Okay, thank you. Oh, Mr. Sentin are here also. Hopefully that next year I can have a chance to go to India to share some of my story. And you know that in Thailand, people are very strict to avoid any contamination of the videos of Parahemolyticus. Definitely yes, but Antinolaticus or another species. However, this API line from the hatchery, they decide to let some contamination is there because it can show that our the PL are perfect. The PL perfection is not because of there are good characteristic, very beautiful and are free with the disease. But the perfection of the API line, it have to be they are able to survive even there are a disease contamination is there. If they are able to survive and give a good characteristic under such a condition, so we don't have to worry when we stock them into the farm. It will be sure to survive. This is the reason why I choose the PL for my farm by this way. That's why in my farm, a farm nearby, they die because of white spot syndrome virus, because of the EMS, because of the white feces, because of the hydrogen sulfide, toxic gases, ammonia high nitrite, or even heavy rains, heavy temperature. But in my farm, that one among them still survive breakthrough until we can harvest. And some farming tip and trick, for example, this is what I heard. I will not mention this much because they're talking about the white feces. That is actually my farm. We're not facing this, but they mix the feed with active supplement like a fish boil, fish fermentation, and after that, they can bring them back. Or some farmer will stop the feed for 3 days and mix with the protein extract product, and then they can bring them back. With EHP, they can use follow by the feeding instruction, because people will recognize the shrimp like they not eat, but however the shrimp still eat, and if you mix with the fish meal or some protein extract, they can come back, and maybe another feeding instruction is there. I will tell you later. And the size is smaller than 10 gram during the first 2 months, but they will speed up the growth rate later on. and we got underweight when sampling because the big size of the shrimp are jumping very fast. When I go to the check tray, actually from the beginning I found that my shrimp are not grow, not grow, not grow. So after some time when I learn, oh, their behavior is like this, I try to like a robber, walk very stop on the check tray bridge. So walk slowly. And when I lift the check tray, I have to lift as fast as possible to make sure that I can catch on the shrimp to see. Then okay, I found that okay, the shrimp into the check tray are too much too. And the PL size are smaller than the other company. Actually, PL10 is just only 0.8 centimeter. So if I buy, for example, I buy PL14, I got only 1.2 centimeter. So uh, at the beginning, we also worry. Maybe the trim not strong, but finally we can get 130 DOC, right? We got around 80% survival rate on the at the end. So that means they are super strong. And there are some behavior, they are very strong, high strength, very strong, high survival rate. Yeah, I experienced myself. They not gather in a flock, they will like quite independent. Uh, the this line, I got data from someone that the maximum ADG can up to 0.8 gram per day. But however, this is in perfect condition. They are very sensitive to the synthetic change. Like if you apply chemical, artificial dye, or you change the way you run the aerators, for example, or something leach out to the pond, they will stop eating. For example, my pond, when heavy rain is there and leach out with the muddy, oh, they stop eating for a long way, but they will not die. They have a high tolerance to the fluctuation of the natural things, high immunity to the disease. In my pond, there are no disease at all. Even the bird, the duck, the flying duck, come from the pond that already harvest, emergency harvest with white spot syndrome virus. Actually, those days we are super worried, but we heard from somebody that API are able to fight or withstand with the white spot syndrome virus. So we just only pray. 15 days pass. Okay, we are relaxed because they still survive. Yeah. And there are some rearing instruction that I make a conclusion. So over here, recommended stocking 50 to 100 trim per square meter is good. And it's it goes slow, slow growth comparing to the other line in Thailand. But however, there are everything don't have just only a positive side, right? No, not only a positive side. There will be a positive side and negative side. For API, they have a good survival rate. They have a good tolerance. They have quite reliable that they will survive. You will be able to harvest for sure. But for the growth rate, you have to accept them that okay, it will not able to compare with the dominant line in Thailand. So another thing, we have to provide more area for trim to collect feed. So we have to spread out the feed as large as possible. Uh, and low water exchange is better. I found that every time when I do the water exchange, the animals stop eating or eating very low for almost 6 hours, almost 6 hours. So we might lose growth rate at the moment. So there are some feeding instruction I will not mention here that much. If your people can walk through later by yourself because I explain quite clear. There are a lot of data about feeding instruction. This is why I put here because my farm are fail on feeding them. So I would like to give you an average growth rate in Thailand. My farm did not meet this level. We are under. But average growth rate in Thailand, we can say that 40 DOC, we got average 200 cow or 5 gram size. 60 DOC about 8.3 gram size. 80 DOC about 12 gram size. 100 DOC 18 gram size and 100 DOC 28 gram size. And there are some people that 140 DOC is 40 gram size. 40 gram size, that means 25 cow. There are some farmer achieve that level also. I also plan next crop. I would like to challenge my farm, whether I can meet this standard or not. I do believe that I can do, but okay, I will show you later, maybe another 4 months or 5 months, because we plan to stocking around 15, 18, 20 something of October. So we plan to harvest around February next year. So about March next year, I can show you people again about the performance of my farm. This is the feeding chart title of like this. And there are a lot of study case from many farmer that I got from API people. I study from this. You can see that this farm facing some white spot syndrome virus with heavy rain until the water cover entire the pond. I mean to flood over pond, but they still able to harvest. Oh, very good production. But they stocking. Okay, I got totally around 6 point something ton. I stocking totally about 450,000 maybe totally. Then my survival rate are so much better than these people. These people survival rate only this number because over flooding, then the chim go away along with the water. This farmer harvest with 111 day, they got 50 cow. The color is something like 75. Yeah. And this farmer 11 pond, they stocking each pond 450,000. They got very good FCR. And they got the profit more than 100%. So that more than 82% during the rainy season. But they used 2 auto feeder with 11% of the feeding area comparing to the pond area. So we found that if you have larger feeding area, that means you getting better FCR performance. And these farmers stocking under the sanity only 6, and they found the trim, molting and die just only 20 to 40 trim per day, comparing to the other line that we die about 500 to 600, 500 to 800 trim per day. So they get better performance. The color is good like this. And this farmer 130 DOC, they got 31 cow. They got 31 cow. And this is the color of the shrimp. It's dark like a black tiger. When boil them, it will give very bad color. This farm facing super ammonia, like a ammonia 10 for 2-3 weeks. But the result is just only better color, nothing at all. Shrimp still eating like usual, and there are no suffering. This farmer also very good success, and he tell me that, oh, you don't have to run a lot of aerator. This shrimp able to withstand or happy with lower oxygen comparing to the other farm in Thailand. And this farmer running the aerator cover 18% of the pond. So one of the important factor is how large of the feeding area compared to the pond area is one of the significant factor to give a FCR like this 1.15. Yeah, there are so many case study. This case study also 120 day, 42 cow, but this farm suffering from white spot syndrome virus and some shrimp died before. But it survived after white spot syndrome virus. Yeah, there are. Okay, I will skip this because it's quite too much. There are so many cases that I got from them. And okay, most of the farmer that show here, I used to discuss with them to make sure that I got a right technique, understand the trim well before starting my farm. This one is some example also. You can see that 63 day, 151 deals gram, 80 day, 73 gram, 90 day, 53 gram, 100 day, 46 gram. So you can see 109 day, 40 gram, 101 day, 33 gram. You can see that the size is good too. Some farmer who understand and manage the farm well, they can get, you can see 100, okay, roughly we can say 120 day, 170 day, they can get 30 something gram. That means about 30 gram already. There's a lot of clips, sorry. It has a lot of clip. This trim having a red interim and a red antenna, very long antenna comparing to the other line. This is the PL, this is the color. You can see the color at the salinity 27, the color from 24 to 28, and this is 24 to 26. That you can see percentage that is quite 25 is quite high. Oh, there are many cases. Oh, sorry, there's a lot of clip. You can see the dark color. In Thailand we call honey color. Honey color.
Honey color.
Okay. There are some clip. Okay. And there are some buyer in Thailand. They have a spec to buy the trim for their factory. They need a trim that have a clean gill, high saline, 70-40 count, color like this, and high sperm rate, good hepatopancreas after boiling, because some farmers suffering from boiling, hepatopancreas burst after boiling, after boil the shrimp. No shell scar, no odor, no loosened gut muscle. Loosened gut muscle, that means after boiling, around the gut on the back of the shrimp, muscle become loosened and easy to peel out. I mean to just take out. So their customer not prefer. So they think that all of these things, API can give you about 5 out of 10, and sorry, out of 9 out of 9 requirement, and farmer can do by yourself around 5 out of 9. So because of this, it's easy for API line. So he asked every of their supplier or farmer to stocking the API line because they want to buy a shrimp. Okay, I would like to end up with this photo. Mr. Jesada is API management team, and this is the founder of API Live. So I have to thank to him because during the past 20 years, I found that API can give me so much easy farming process than the other line. So I decided to continue a next crop already. Yesterday, I go to the farm yesterday and examine everything, decide to start the new crop next month. Okay, that's all. Thank you on for your attention. So open for question.
Great. Thank you very much, Danny. We're
You're
going to
welcome.
hold the questions till we get to the end of the presentation, so we make sure VJ has enough time, but very good information on how our animals are currently doing in Thailand. Thank you again for sharing all of that. Now, VJ, it is your turn, so I will share my screen and we'll put up your presentation, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
All right, we're in full screen. All right, VJ, you ready?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
All right, here's your video.
So most of the people in the group might be known me since long years. I'm working with the shrimp industry since 1993, and have presently I'm working in Central America, the country name called Belize. Due to this farm has abandoned for last 4 years, and last year only we have taken this farm, and still we are working on establishing power and all. But before that, we are doing some extension module culture, not exactly extension module. We stock like 15 pieces density in our 10 acres ponds. That means 600,000, 6 lakhs numbers. And without aeration, we are doing the practice. And within 51 days, we have achieved 13.6 grams. And still our all our ponds, we are stocked almost 20 ponds. We stocked 5 acres ponds, 10 ponds, and 10 acres, 10 ponds. All the brood is from API Dragon Line, which is here the hatchery called Belluro hatchery. So I'm very happy to share this video because did you see, can you see the pigmentation of the animal, and can you see the, I mean, water quality, not particularly we can observe, but we are maintaining the stable water quality. And we are still our at present IFCR is 0.7 with at 51 to 53 DOC, 13.6 to 13.6 grams. And the shrimp color is just like what Mr. Danny said, that this looks like honey color. And most of the shrimps we cook after every sampling, we try to cook the shrimp with the different practices, and we are getting almost like A4 size shrimp, A4 color shrimp. Now, actually, this concept, what we are going to explain you, what I have observed and what I have learned and what I have experienced from the last 30 of my experience. I just want to share with you all our existing participants. So now going to the slide presentations. So this concept, what we are designed for the particularly.
Banjir pun mereka akan bagi tahu kami banjir.
So this concept, what we are designed for the profitable shrimp farming, because every farmer and every country, every shrimp sector has different issues with they're losing profits in different manners. So out of these studies, because I have traveled across the globe, like I have worked in Vietnam, I have worked in Thailand, I have worked in Sri Lanka, I have worked in other shrimp farming countries like Belize, India. My native country is India, and I worked in India for almost more than 20 years. I worked in India. From last 10 years, I have gone through different countries. So the next slide, sir. Hope everybody can listen my voice.
Sure, we got your voice well.
Yep.
Thanks.
I hear you, BJ.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So generally, everywhere we have two problems with the shrimp farming sector, sir. The one is either growth, either survival. This is the two factor influence our profitability. If his growth is good, but your survival is bad, definitely your production will be got down. Suppose if your survival is good and your growth is down, even your production will be got down. So in these cases, farmers, many of the farmers, I'm talking about the average farmers perceptions. Not some farmers might get good growth like 10%, 20% like that. But majority of the farmers in the world, particularly like India, Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, all over the country, we have some issues. All these countries, we have issues like either growth slow, either survival loss. So these two factors can influence the farmer profitability. So this something has come on my slide, sir.
Yeah, sorry, BJ. It's just started.
Yeah.
Let's see. Trying to get back here. Yeah, my
Just
screen
close
just started. Yeah, let me see. All right, I'll try that again, BJ.
Yes, no problems.
All right.
So the next, go to the next slide. So survival and growth have some troubleshoots what we observed from the last decades of culture. What is the main troubleshoots we are facing in the shrimp farming sectors? Next one, sir. So generally we have either toxin wise or pathogen wise, we have some issues like just like what Mr. Danny told that ammonia, nitrate, hydrogen sulfide, these are the toxins can rule our culture. either the pathogens can rule our culture, either like white spot syndrome, EHP, and EMS, and some countries has EMS issues, and some system default problems are like running mortality and white feces issues also that we are facing. But now majority countries are facing the biggest problem is EHP, sir. This is the most deadliest disease, because this is just like a cancer. Because never farmer lose all animals at a time, but the growth will be restricted and the slowly mortality will be starts. But because every farmer has some hope, maybe the next week without the testing they can continue the farms to on the hope base they can continue the farm. So definitely at the end of the day they're losing their money, or they're losing their credibility, whatever it is. So EHP is the one of the, I don't want to go deep into the disease sectors because my focus and my study and my research on mostly on water quality management. But my concept, I understand that prevention is better than cure. So I try to avoid all these systems into all these problems into my systems. Next one, sir. Same like this is white feces syndromes also now everywhere we are facing. But most of the white feces, not exactly that we can say it's a disease, but it is a system default. That means majority white feces syndromes might be with bacterial or protozoan like gregarines or something. But these are all happens after a sudden algal crash. We can observe these kind of symptoms. You can check every out of 100 farmers, definitely you can observe this syndrome means either before week or 10 days back, there was an algal crash. So definitely once algal crash means definitely there is a high chances of anaerobic conditions in the pond bottom along with the feed waste, fecal matter and everything. So the anaerobic conditions leads to generate the some kind of toxins and they can host for the pathogenic bacteria, either other protozoan. These things can happens within the anaerobic zone conditions. Next one, sir. Same like white gut and white muzzle. These are all we known as. These are all related to the bottom anaerobic, more anaerobic patches. Because many countries like Vietnam and Indonesia, most of the shrimp farm has shrimp toilet system. But other countries like Sri Lanka and India, like 90% farmers doesn't have any shrimp toilet system. That is also one bigger troubleshoot for these farming practices, because without shrimp toilet, the sludge will be accumulated in the most of them, the 30 to 40% of the center of the area. Sometimes uneven aerator distribution, uneven aerator running practices, that anaerobic patches might happen throughout the ponds, not bigger sizes, but we could see small size, small particles, small patches also can lead to encourage the pathogenic bacteria and encourage the toxic gases. Next one, sir. So this is white spot syndrome. This is almost since 94. Most of the countries are suffering with white spot syndrome. So this is just like it's a white heart attack disease. Once it has happens within 2-3 days, farmer can harvest, and maximum we can, if it is a good decision harvest, farmer can come with less losses. But if farmer can go with trial with different kind of medicines and all, definitely farmer lose the major profits. So the diagnosis is the most important for the shrimp farming, sir. That is very, very important, because once we find any kind of uneven pattern on shrimp behavior or uneven pigmentation, definitely we should go send the animals to the lab, and we have to check whether what exactly the problem might be. Because now technology has developed. Even some kind Australia, one company established online lab. If you can send the lab, they can detect 13 to 14 pathogen dissection. Like that, everywhere we have good labs and we have good systems, and we can identify. Diagnosis is the most important to lessen the profit, lessen the losses. The next ones. So this is the most common factor in either shrimp farm or any aquaculture, because fibrosis is a very common bacteria available in the waters.
Okay, exactly.
So definitely, if the system supports, if any sudden changes in our water quality or water parameters, definitely Vibrio has take higher chance to attack the animal, and within few days we can build out the Vibrio outbreak will happens in the systems. But this mortality is very huge mortality. Within 48 hours, we can lose more than 70% of animals. These are all losing the farmer profitability. That means mortality. We can say this is the mortality issues we have. Particularly EHP is the only concern. EHP and white gut, other fishes can growth factor, but majority diseases are mortality disease. So the survival lose the survivors. Next ones. So this is running mortality syndrome, sir. This is actually 100% related to the toxic gases, sir. Mostly toxic gases like ammonia and hydrogen sulfide. So generally what we called ammonia mortality, that means ionized ammonia mortality, we called midday murders. Hydrogen sulfide mortality we called as a midnight murders. Because ammonia toxicity is very, very high during the daytime when the photosynthesis is very high, when the radiation temperature and radiation is very high, and the pH went shoot up more than 8.2, 8.3. Generally, every farm has it's a general formula. Every farm has a TAN, that means total ammonia nitrogen available, ready available in the decomposition process. But particularly when temperature and pH shoot up, definitely this the total ammonia nitrogen converts into ammonia, ionized ammonia like hydrogen NH3 gas. So this cause severe mortalities in the middays. That means once the ammonia toxicity is very high, shrimp surrounding water very high with ionized ammonia, shrimp cannot pass inside ammonia to the water bodies. So definitely the system get collapsed and they got mortality. But one thing, this ammonia mortality we can observe after 3 to 4 days, the animals float on the surface with red discoloration. So at least it has some identification. But when you come to the midnight mortality, like with hydrogen sulfide, that is a silent killer. We cannot identify the mortality rate, how much, how deep, and how aggressive that deep, because we cannot identify. And shrimps does not even. Sometimes we can get some animals in the trace. Sometimes we can find with cast nets. But we cannot estimate the mortality rate with hydrogen sulfide. That's why we call this a silent killer. So these two generally also growth wise it influence very less, but mortality wise they influence more. So in this way the farmer lose the profit and farmer lose the crops. Next ones. So what is the reasons behind? Generally I am talking about the pathogens or toxins or anything. There is reasons behind this. Next one, sir. So most of the shrimp farms, particularly I'm talking about India and some countries like Sri Lanka, and some farms in Thailand with ethane ponds, some ponds. Most of the ponds are aged ponds. That means more than 10 years culture already going from the last 10 years. So that automatically the pond age the age of the pond get old, and there is a high chance of humus accumulation in the pond soils. Humus means that is the final stage of organic matter. Organic matter converts into sludge converts into humus, and the humus is settled in the pond bottoms, nearly like 10 to 12 centimeters deeper. Sometimes it's settled. If it is a more aged ponds, sometimes we can 1 foot level also we can see the humus. This is also influence our profitability of the farms. Next one, sir. And the second more thing is what we are taking water is a major issue, because most of the areas, all major resource waters are more contaminated with high organic loads, because the same water we are discharging into the same canals or same creeks and all, because many of the countries doesn't have environmental impact assessment laws. Even small countries like Nigeria, Sri Lanka, they're very much care about the environmental impact issues. But unfortunately, India doesn't have that much of laws implemented in Indian countries, because we are just throwing our water after harvest. We are just throwing the direct water into our natural systems. So every pond harvest has the major two nutrients are influencing over the surrounding resource waters, that is nitrogen and phosphorus. So definitely nitrogen, phosphorus directly influence the resource waters, some kind of algae, some kind of macro planktons or something. So at same time, there is high algal population with the high natural this thing. Definitely, there is an organic loads will be available in the source water. But
I don't know what to do because Papa is not around. So
so that's what this source water. Many of the farmers does not have the proper sedimentation system when we are taking water, because they completely believe in chlorine. That they're only focusing on the pathogens or carriers, but same time they have to care about the organic load content in our water. Bleaching cannot control all these systems, because once you apply the chlorine or something, again that water has, after some days, the bacteria has developed on the dead matter on the pond bottom, where when we apply the chlorine or something. So the sedimentation system is the major thing we have to implement for the profitable farmings. Like if suppose if you are if I want to take the water, at least I have to leave 30% of area for the sedimentations. Next one. And so back one, sir, backside. And most of the farmers less pond preparation. I think, sir, like the soil preparation or water preparation. Majority farmers are not much worrying about the water preparation, because after the pond preparation is the major concern. Like we have to make the pond get dry, make it plow, and make it more oxidize the soils. But majority farmers are not much taking care of about a pond preparation. And the second thing is, the major thing is water preparation, sir, because they just pump the water, they apply chlorine. After 7 days, they're going to stock the animals with some kind of fertilizers. They apply some kind of this. But for the long durability and high sustainability, the water should get matured. That is the most important criteria for the profitable farming practices. That means at least we have to wait for 28 days to get water matured. How we know the water get matured means, if you are properly balanced your algae, definitely there is a kind of autotrophic bacteria also simultaneously they develop in the systems, but it needs at least 28 days for the matured water. The initial days you can see high ammonia in the waters, but after that ammonia can will be reduced and nitrate will shoot up. After a few days the nitrate will be reduced and nitrate will be available. That means that is the matured water, and this matured water with applications of some kind of fermented rice bran or something, natural food availability will be more available in the system. That helps a lot to balance the mixotrophic cultures. That means some kind of bacteria need the shelters. So definitely, if the water get matured, some kind of bacteria has the shelters or attachments will be happens. So this is the pond preparation is also very, very important. Even at the earthen pond or liner pond, whatever it is, the water should get matured. Because last year I worked in Sri Lanka, we stocked almost 100 pieces density in liner ponds. And within 105 days, we achieved 35-gram shrimps because we took almost 35 days for the water maturation systems. Next one, sir. And the most important factor for aquaculture is water quality. But unfortunately, many of the farmers are losing water quality. They get poor water quality because of the different culture practices or different cultures applications and all. The water get poor within the few days, like 35 to 45 days. The water get not that much of quality we are getting it within the water. So this is the major concern. This is the major concern for the profitability of the farm. Because once we stock with the seed, we cannot do anything with the seed. We cannot change genetically. We cannot change anything. We cannot change with the seed. The only have within our hands, the only chance is we have to make water more quality to live animal without stress. That is the only concept we have. What I observed from the last 30 years of experience, what I observed that if you can give the good space, if you can good environment, if you can good this thing, definitely shrimp does not go under stress. If shrimp does not go under stress, it has high immunity to resist all the things. Even small factors of changes can lead shrimp stress factors. For example, pH. Majority factor pH is the primary indicator of your water quality. So if you can observe the pH, suppose within a day, if you can observe from 7 a.m., 11 a.m., 3 p.m. If your pH is get fluctuate like morning, if it is suppose 7.8 or something, if it is 10 o'clock, it goes to 8.1. At 3 o'clock, it will go to 8.4 means your system has collapsed. Because your pond condition is not at all good for the animal. Because within these fluctuations influence all other parameters like alkalinity, DO, and everything. pH is the influence other parameters too. So definitely, if you have this much of fluctuation, means definitely your system has dominated by the algae. That is the primary thumb rule. That means the primary production. If primary productions are increasing, your secondary production means either fish, shrimp, whatever it is, the animal product, your culture animal yield is the secondary production. Primary production is algae. The secondary production is your animal. If the primary production is high, your secondary production will be decline. Because algae can influence the entire system. Because the algae life is very short life. Within the short life, they grow, they die, they grow, they die. Like that in the pattern, all the dead algae, everything goes to the pond bottom and again become as an anaerobic condition, and they become they're gone under decomposition process by particular bacteria, heterotrophic bacteria, and again they produce ammonia. This ammonia in a tan formation, it acts as a nutrient for the plankton. Again, the plankton is grow up. So this system become more complicated with high algal blooms. That is the primary. Once regular algal blooms happens, your pond water turbidity get increased. That means sometimes your checked readings you can see the checked readings lesser than 20 centimeters. So this is the major concern what I prefer for the water quality. Whatever the brood, whatever this thing is, the shrimp needs an appropriate appropriate environment condition. That is the most concern. Next ones. And the second more thing is the pond carrying capacity, estimating the carrying capacity. Generally, we made some trials from the last 3 to 4 years with the different practices. In general phenomena, earthen ponds, the carrying without shrimp toilet, the carrying capacity per square meter is just only 1 kilo per square meter, sir. without shrimp toilet. If you have the shrimp toilet system with good water facility system, you can make it at least 1.5 kilo per square meter with the earthen. I'm talking about the earthen pond. But unfortunately, particularly I'm talking about India. Now the average production per square meter is just 400 grams to 500 grams. That means definitely no farmer will get the profit with that production. If you can take any farmer, you can take any farmer feedback. What is your average production per acre? That they tell like two tons. That means 500 grams per square meter. If you can take the overall production cost, it goes to more than 400 rupees. Sometimes it goes to 500 rupees per square meter. So automatically farmer lose. So this way we have to understand what is our farming carrying capacity, how we have to achieve at least 1 kilogram per square meter. That is more important. And what size we are harvesting this animal, the biomass, at what size we are harvesting that 1 kilo. That is also more important. If you can take an average shrimp industry, average this thing is 16 to 17 grams of shrimps are producing with 500 grams at the maximum 600 grams per square meter. So definitely this does not help us to make more profits with these practices. Either first we have to increase your production, pond production per square meter, like 1 kilo per square meter. At the same time, your size of the shrimp should go more than at least 20 to 25 grams. Definitely you will get, suppose if you can take 1 kilo per square meter, if your production cost maximum, it goes to 600 grams per square meter, your profit almost 400 grams per your square meter is profit. Definitely no farmer will lose this concept. But the thing is, you have to understand earthen ponds maximum can hold 1 kilo per square meter without shrimp toilet, without any disturbance. At the same time, if you have a shrimp toilet, you can increase the production like 1.5 kilo per square meter. But when you take the liner ponds, the biggest problem is the size of the pond is also important. So here is earthen ponds or a liner pond. The size of the ponds are important. If you have big ponds, definitely we cannot 100% control the sludge. So definitely we have to reduce our density and you have to focus more on your size. But the target is 1 kilo per square meter. When you coming to the liner ponds, if some farmers made 1 acre liner ponds, some farmers like 3,000 square meter liner pond. In the same time, this is also influence your production. But if you want a good production with liner ponds, the ideal, suppose if you want harvest 4 kilo per square meter, the pond size should be 1,300 square meter. If your pond size is 400 square meter, maximum you can achieve 2.5 kg per square meter. So here you have to understand pond is and pond carrying capacity and pond size also very important for your stocking densities. But unfortunately, we are going very blindly for the stocking densities. So this is also one major concern for the underestimate the carrying capacities. Next one. So this is biosecurity issues from the last decades. Everybody is speaking about biosecurity, but the thing is, outside biosecurity is okay. What about inside biosecurity? How you are manage your farm manpower? How you are avoiding the contamination between the ponds? That is the most important. But generally, biosecurity in all grounds, like if you screen the seeds, if you can get less organic load waters and less carriers water, that is most important, because 100% we cannot eliminate bacteria in the ponds, sir. It's a very common factor that bacteria is always in the air, in the water, whatever, wherever it is. But the domination of the bacteria is important. How the pathogen bacteria should be lesser than the good bacteria. You try to make more good bacteria to save the farms. This is the main common factors we are observing in the systems. Next one. So here my point of view, 100 problems, there is one reason or one source, 100 problems. If you can take any problem, definitely the problem ends with the investigation ends with one source, that is called sludge. Next one, sir. So that is stress is the prime cause root for the many issues. But how the sludge is accumulating in our how the sludge is, stress is coming into our systems. That is the main one. The prime root cause for the stress is the prime root cause. Next one, sir. So generally, you can see after harvest, many farmers can observe there is a pond, there is a bumps are available in the pond bottom. You can see the big bump of sludge like 100 feet dia, 100 feet dia sludge are some ponds we can observe. So without removing the sludge, definitely these layers become more aerobic layers, sir. So definitely once your pond get more aerobic layers, definitely your system get collapsed. Next one, sir. So now we are discussing about how the sludge accumulates in our ponds. Next one. So generally the sludge pathway is mostly organic matter. That means organic matter comes under different things: algal crush, feed waste, fecal matter, molting shells, and some natural food like coffee pots, whatever inside the pond get died. They get as an all we called as organic matter, and organic matter get decomposed by bacteria. It is a generally organic matter decomposition by heterotrophic bacteria, sir. That is everybody should understand heterotrophic bacteria. This autotrophic bacteria is a different function, but heterotrophic bacteria's major function is decomposing the organic matter. So what happens organic matter decomposition? Once the organic matter decomposition, that means they break down the organic nitrogen and organic carbon and converts them into inorganic nitrogen and inorganic carbon. That means protein and sugars can be converted into ammonia. The prime inorganic nitrogen formation is ammonia, and the inorganic carbon formation is carbon dioxide. So generally we call these are the major outputs from the organic matter decomposition. So generally, if the organic matter decomposition means there is a high chances of DO depletion and negative ORP and pathogenic activity, toxin gases, and finally mortality or slow growth. So generally here we have to understand that most of the people believes that ammonia will be controlled by the bacteria. Yes, I accept. But because when you apply the probiotics, they take the ammonia as a food source and they take the organic carbon as a energy source to become a new bacteria cells. It is just a matter of 10%. The ammonia become as a bacterial biomass is a 10%. But the population goes high when the biomass population, bacterial biomass high means there is high chances of organic matter decomposition. When you have high organic matter decomposition means you have high ammonia and carbon dioxide production. Again, this leads to your plankton blooms very high. If you can say then a chart like you are say that a pattern like this, after 35 to 40 days, many farms get watercolors green because of from the day one we start giving the feeding, and the feed has protein and the feed has organic carbon. So definitely the bacteria can start their works. Even before stocking also, they with the algal dead algae and all, they can start decomposition. But when you are applying feed means it's high protein content. So definitely it's a good source for bacterial decomposition. So this leads after 35 to 40 days, this leads to ammonia and carbon dioxide, this thing, because plankton can take the ammonia as a and ammonia as a nutrient, carbon dioxide for the photosynthesis base, they remove the both of them. So generally majority farmers say there is no ammonia in our pond, but that means your ammonia has been taken by the plankton. If you see your pond colors are green, means sometimes you could not notice the ammonia. But when excess for modules, there is high production of carbon dioxide, the removal of high removal of carbon dioxide, your pH went up. And even plankton also cannot take 100% ammonia when the population is high. Ammonia production is high with organic deposition. Very short time of time, particularly between 1 o'clock to 1 p.m. to 3 afternoon 1 to 3 p.m. The ammonia immediately converts into inorganic, ionized ammonia. So immediately the shrimps get stress, or some shrimps get mortality. If it is prolonged like this, you can see the mortality rate will be very high. So this is that's why probiotic applications. I'm not against the probiotic application, but you have to minimize you have to understand your concept. pH is the major concept. If you regularly check the pH morning 7, 11, 3 o'clock, you can understand your pond dynamics. Because if there is a high fluctuation rate, means definitely there is high organic matter decomposition happens in your system. That leads to plankton blooms high. That means primary production is very high. At the same time, one overnight, your algal will be collapsed. So this leads to, again, your pond bottom get more anaerobic conditions, either in liner ponds, earthen ponds, whatever it is. The general phenomena is when you're throwing the feed, bacteria are ready to decompose. When your algal die, bacteria are ready to decompose. When your whatever available organic matter, they're ready to decompose it by the bacteria. But many of the farmers, they're applying lots of probiotics in the systems. That means your organic decomposition might be very high sometimes. Or if the sources are less, suddenly they collapse. And the pathogen bacteria activity is more that time. So you have to balance your applications. That is the most important. Here in Belize, what we are making an SOP per acre. Entire crop we are using only 280 grams to 300 grams of probiotics. That is not in a direct form. We are fermented the rice bran with the bacteria. Per every kilo of rice bran, we are just giving 1 gram of bacteria to ferment, and that juice but we add 20 liters what. We are applying that. The whole crop we are using only 280 grams to 300 grams per acre. But in general phenomena, some farmers are applying 1 kilo per acre, 1 week, 1 kilo. Some farmers are applying 500 grams per acre per week. I'm talking about the week. So this is also not only expenditure, but this leads to your plankton production high. This is the very common factor. If anybody wants, we can prove it and at their farms itself. So this is also farmers losing money in the form of this thing. And moreover, if your blooms are high, definitely daytime, generally, if you run more aerators times, you flush the carbon dioxide from the pond waters. This leads again, this also leads to high pH. So generally what we have to observe that we have to our practice in Sri Lanka, what we did in 100 pieces density, I'm talking about 100 pieces density. Between 1 o'clock to 1:30, half an hour only we used to run the aerators. Rest of time we are using the blower system in the daytime because blowers cannot push that much of carbon dioxide. The purpose is we have to resuspension the water. We have to balance the thermal stratification and DO stratification. Because with high photosynthesis rate, your top waters are more than 20 oxygen. But when you're coming to the bottom, it's just like 3 or 2. That is not a good practice. So if you can maintain in a resuspension the water, that means your thermal and DO stratification and all your pond have the same temperature and same DO levels. So that's why we are not using any pedal wheel. I'm talking about the pedal wheel aerator during the day, but we are using the pedal wheel aerators night 7 to morning 7. That is, we have to balance everything, and at the same time, we use the blower aeration for the resuspension, the organic matter. Sometimes this anaerobic paths we can control with oxidizer layers. We can control this one. Next ones. So this is generally our pond conditions, sir. You can see this is the bump portion is your sludge portion. Once the sludge portion, again, it's kind of bacteria called anaerobic bacteria. Sometimes that does not require direct oxygen, sir, because anaerobic zone means there is a non availability of oxygen, but there is an availability of other oxygen sources for the bacteria. That means sulfates and nitrates and carbon dioxide. They take the oxygen from the nitrates and they release the nitrogen. They take the oxygen from the sulfur and they release the sulfur. And they take the carbon dioxide oxygen from the carbon dioxide and they release the C. When your system does not much thick oxidation layer near the pond bottom, there is always hydrogen ion is available in our system. That means your sulfur converts into hydrogen sulfide. Again, your nitrogen converts into ammonia. Again, your carbon dioxide converts into methane. This is the general phenomena in the pond bottom. So generally, if you have the more anaerobic zone, means they take the oxygen from the other elements, except oxygen acceptors like sulfate, because most of the seawater has sulfate. And generally, we have some nitrates available or nitrate available is more and more nitrates sometimes available. They take the nitrates cannot be this one, but they take oxygen from nitrate. So definitely they release the inorganic formation of sulfur, nitrogen, and carbon. They immediately reacted with the hydrogen ion. But in general, in a good management practices, the top layer should have a hydrogen ion and the bottom layer should have the oxygen ions. If you have the top layer have high oxygen hydrogen ion, your ammonia never converts into anhydrous ammonia. If you have good oxidation layer at O2 available in the pond bottoms, again this sulfur becomes sulfates, again this nitrate again converts into nitrate, and this carbon becomes into carbon dioxide. But unfortunately, after 45 days, the phenomena get reverse. You have more oxygen in the top layers, more hydrogen ion in the bottom layers. That's why your bottom layers sometimes have less pH. Your top water has high pH. For this phenomena also, we have to run just some kind of resuspension of the water. Don't run aerator during the middays. According to my knowledge and experience, we are not running aerators during the daytime. We are use the blower systems or venturi system to balance the mainly blowers is the resuspension process, and it mix the water and your all your areas get more well settled with oxygen layers. This is a general pond condition what we are going to expect. Next ones. So now we can we have to, can we overcome these issues? Definitely we can overcome these issues with good management practices. Mainly you have to focus on your water quality. That is more important. If your water quality is good, your shrimp is good. But general what we discussed. Next one, sir. So these are the major things we have to applying for the good water quality management. Pond rehabilitation, that means plowing and oxidize the soils and reduce the toxins and reduce the this thing. And pond preparation, that means you have to get more water matured, prepare water get matured. And advanced aeration designs like blower systems and these things to resuspension the organic matters. And moreover, the most crime thing is sludge management. For this, generally, the shrimp toilets acts as an two kind of advantage with shrimp toilet. One is you have to remove the sludge, and sometimes, in particularly when you have a good autotrophic bacteria, the autotrophic bacteria portion is up to nitrification, sir, not denitrification, because they converts ammonia into nitrate, nitrate converts into nitrate, so that the job finished. But how we have to control the nitrate means there is either thing is because it's not a gas. It's again it is a nutrient. Again, this supports our plankton. But if you have a good shrimp toilet systems, there is a chance of anoxic condition, chances are high in the shrimp toilet system. That means there is no oxygen, even no sulfur, no sulfates, no this thing, only nitrate. Particularly some kind of bacteria can take this oxygen from the nitrate and they directly release nitrogen gas into the water. With your resuspension system, this thing, the nitrogen gas will be removed from the pond. So that is also one advantage of shrimp toilet. The major advantage is you are removing everyday sludge, means you have never have the issue of anaerobic conditions. That is the main primary concept of the shrimp toilet system. You not 100% we can say anaerobic condition. At least you have minimized your anaerobic pathways. Instead of 40%, you can minimize to 10%. So your rate of mortality or rate of growth will be controlled within shrimp toilet, anaerobic pathways. So shrimp toilet plays a major role in particularly shrimp farming, because our densities are high, our feeding rates are high, our fecal rate is high, our plankton rates are high, your dead plankton is high, and you have more anaerobic pathways in the system when comparing with other aquatic animals. Because shrimp is almost some countries reach more than 5 kilo per square meter. That means 50 tons, 60 tons also. That means you just imagine how much feed is going per every day. So what is the rate of your decomposition rate? If you don't have the shrimp toilet system, definitely your pond bottoms get more anaerobic. So the next one is more intake water system design is more important to avoid some kind of chemicals. Suppose if we take in a 10 acres, if we are designing one farm in India, we take only 6 acres as a culture area. We taken 3 acres as a sedimentation. That means the water comes from one pond to another pond, another pond to another pond, the final one. There we can treat it with oxygen. The first 2 ponds we never go with any oxidation. The final where we have to take the water, there we can apply some kind of fermentation, rice bran and all, and you can get matured water. Every time you have the matured water in the system along with the pond system. You can use the baffle systems, you can use the screens, or you can use, the concept is you have to reduce your sedimented particle. That means suspended particles. That means sometimes you have some high turbidity. Suppose if it's 400 turbidity, if you pass through this kind of baffle systems and all, when you're taking that time, it comes to less than 40. But if you can directly take the 400 NTU value of water, definitely your system get collapsed very early stage. Not only the seed, not only the feed, sir. The main thing is your plate is more important. That is main concept for aquaculture. If your plate means the pond bottom condition and the rest of things are more, water quality is the major concern for your thing. Because as per Mr. Danny, some farmers harvested good shrimp, some farmers harvested good profit, some farmers harvested less profits. Because most of the farms seeds, many of the farmers are select one particular hatchery, never has the same results, sir. In even one farm, you never has the same results. Your pond production or your FCR never, because there is other factors influencing this. Mainly, your sometimes we are neglecting the pond preparation, or sometimes you are unable to pump water in particular time. Because as Mr. Danny told, he has some issue of water system. Because aquaculture means you are culturing the water. If there is no water, means there is no point of doing aquaculture. So that means you have always buffer water in your system to take ready to take at any time. And our main here we are without aeration we are doing 15 pieces. Just we are adding on everyday basis we're diluting the water. Every day we keep on pumping from the day one to harvest. Our target is to keep on pumping water. That means you are diluting your water. That diluting means your algal never get more domination. With aeration, with the steam toilet, just we can remove the system. But without aeration, what we have to do? So generally what we doing without aeration, without steam toilet, we are doing after 30 days, we are doing every day bottom flush nights. One side water in, one side water out. So this is how we are maintaining with 15 pieces density, also more than 5.9. And if you can see the quality of the shrimps, there is no gross sign of any stress sign. Mainly first stress sign is tails. If you can see the tails in red color, that means your shrimp under stress. Mainly tail, I'm talking about the tail. So these are all factors influencing your system. The main, we are not bothering about intake water. We are not bothering about sludge. We are not bothering about pond preparation. So these are all common mistakes. Shrimp does not care about your excuses, your classes, because shrimp always need an stress-free condition. It needs a very good, healthy environment to sustain. If you are not providing anything and you're expecting good from shrimps, they just say, I'm sorry. So this is happening in the majority farms are facing the issues because of they have some lot of issues. Some farmers say my lease is very high. I cannot live for reservoirs. Shrimp does not care. I have not that much of power. I can only give this much of aeration. Shrimp, but I stock more density. Shrimp does not care. So these are all because you respect the animal, the animal will respect you. So please consider shrimp is also an animal. Don't take it as a commercial element. Shrimp is also an animal. You just give what you are giving your baby at your home. Just like shrimp is also an animal. So at least you provide some kind of good facilities for the shrimp. Definitely it helps you. And moreover, aquamimicry farming practices are just what we are observed. We never apply any kind of bacteria direct application, sir. We are applying only through fermented rice bran, because fermented rice bran can create some space for the bacteria like autotrophic bacteria also can settles on the rice bran particles. Once autotrophic bacteria available in your system, your algae never get dominated. That is the fundamental rule, thumbnail you have to understand. Because the same ammonia and carbon dioxide takes by the autotrophic bacteria. If there is no autotrophic bacteria, the majority of the ammonia and carbon dioxide takes by the plankton. Once your plankton greenish, you are never shrimp color, never get A4 color size, A4 color shrimp. Always just like pale color. When you cook, it becomes like a pale. So majority, mainly Japan market and the Korean market, Taiwan, they need very good color shrimp, the pigmentation, red color shrimp pigmentation. So generally, they are not much focusing on particular some countries. They're not taking shrimps because of our practice, our shrimp quality that's not matched up to their requirements. Next ones. So this is generally we design like you see, we are taking water. This is a small design, it's not actually appropriate. This many of if you can make the water get more sediment, and you take water back and you can make more ETP, and again you add there also the other side also, if you can make this same water, you can recycle the water. So this is the general this thing I have designed, but according to the farm requirement, according to the farm location and for these practices, we can make design. But at least you can leave 30% of your area for the sedimentations. So you can avoid the chlorination and you can use good filter system. Just Mr. Danny like said that here we are using to 500 micron mesh. After 4 screens, the final water passes to the 500 microns. So we never use any chlorine because we are taking direct seawater. The water passed 1.2 kilometers canal, direct water from the first pump station to second pump station, another 1.2 kilometers with 70 meters, sorry, 30 meters width canal. So again, it's getting sediment. When you look at your inlet position, you have a clear water. So we don't have bleaching application because here Belize we don't have any mineral availability, and we are maintaining an average salinity is 30. And last 2 weeks back we have very high rains. Our water gets 25 to 27. Our alkalinity got this thing, but we just manage with lime to balance the mineral profile, and that here luckily we have availability of calcium magnesium oxide also available here. We're just using that to maintain the alkalinity and hardness, because hardness considered for carbon, calcium and magnesium. So this is the only practice, and our present our system with these practices, because our growth rate is more than every week, more than 3 to 3 point. Even first month we received for 31 days we received 3.6 grams growth. Because how we can manage the pond? Definitely we respect the shrimps. Simultaneously shrimp respecting us. This is my experience I'm telling. But aquaculture is pure science, sir. Aquaculture is pure science. We cannot eliminate the science with our own directions or own predictions. Respect the water, understand your water, and how to balance your water dynamics like pH, DO, ammonia, alkalinity, mainly ORP, oxidation reduction potential. Everything we have to consider. Don't blow blindly, just like this. And some parts of India, we are now going to. This is for very small scale farmers. We are trying. We are just stocking 4 pieces without feed. We are going with the API brood. Within Karnataka, we are stocking mostly November. We are planning this one. It's a completely freshwater area, 60 acres area. We are going to stock only 4 pieces per square meter without feed and without aeration. Our target is 100 days, 40 grams. At least if we can gain 2 pieces per this thing, we will have more than 500 kg per acre. It is a more profitable. This is for small scale farmers. But according to your financial stability, according to water resources, according to your other things, you have to design your farm. Either it is super intensive, semi-intensive, extensive, like that intensive farm. That depends on your financial abilities. But whatever it is, water is the prime. Your water quality is prime. And brood stock, when we are, because we would like to share one more thing. Last crop, unfortunately, at the end of the harvest, almost ready to harvest, in Belize, there is a sudden power fluctuation. Only 2 ice factories in Belize. The 2 ice factories has burnt, and we could not harvest. And at the same time, in the sea, during the summer, our salinity went up to 45. During the summer, there is a problem in Belize, Caribbean Sea, that seagrass. The lot of seagrass can float on the surface and it enters into our canal, and our canal got blocked. And even we cannot pump the water for 20 days. We cannot harvest the shrimp for 20 days. Particularly those 20 days, we even single pellet I have not applied to the pond, because if you applied the feed, your DO get collapse. You cannot harvest. You lose all your shrimps. So what we did, we just stop the feed and leave it like that. Even there is no rain for that particular days. But at the end of the harvest, there is no single lucial animal, or even at the time of harvest. Here the water harvest is not like Indian style, like dragging. We have to harvest through outlet gates. When the water is passing through outlets, the animals swim against the water with high energy. So just imagine our API brood has that much of strong and stability. But if I give that time, if I went with feeding, definitely I lose the shrimp. So you have to understand, feed is not a concern. If you have a good environmental system, don't go blindly feed. Feed is not a growth factor. So the other factors also. So we just maintain DO like 3.9 to 4 in the nights, and we just maintain like that. But after harvest, even in that conditions also, we had 1.2 grams growth per week. So this is how the animals I just want to explain the strongness of the animals. But if I go with the wrong giving feed, definitely I lose the animals. So you have to understand quality and the genetics too. But generally now we have API has very strong R&D and everything. That's why this crop we stocked almost 20 million seed in 20 ponds. Some ponds we stocked 50 pieces density, but unfortunately still we don't have power has come restored in our farm. Now some ponds are 36 days, 32, 34 days, 32 days, 28, 7 days, and last one is 7 days. But even 36 days, 50 pieces density, still we are very happy with 3 to 3.5 grams growth. But I control the feed. I'm giving only 50% of the meal per day, because we have good water facility now. We are keep on pumping water, and every day night we are going flush out the water. But if I go 100% feeding, definitely I have the deviation. So we have to understand the dynamics. We have to understand the concepts. Don't go blindly aquaculture. If you go blindly aquaculture, it makes you blind. That is the simple concept when to understand, sir. Thank you very much for this great opportunity, Mr. Robert, and I'm very thankful to Robin sir also, and Mr. Durga Prasad, Mr. Barry, and Mr. Daniel. I'm very thankful to all the audience who attended and listened me carefully, and given me this time to interact with you. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you very much, VJ. We appreciate the information. It's very well said, very well presented. I'm sure everyone got a lot of good information out of that. So now,
Thank you, sir.
Perfect. Now what we are going to do is move on to our questions from the audience section of the presentation. So VJ, Danny, I'm going to ask you guys. So when people signed up for this, these were some of the questions and topics that they wanted directly addressed. So VJ, how about, since you're a little bit warm, we keep you going and I ask you about the first question, stocking density related to water quality management. You touched on this a little bit. If you have any highlights that you want to point out, I think we have 10 minutes here to go through these 5 questions. So VJ or Danny, if you have anything that you'd like to share about this, please feel free.
Thank you very much, Robert. Okay, according to the question 5, and Danny, I would like to answer short and briefly like this because most of the story already explained in my presentation. So the stocking density can be vary according to the readiness or the facility that you're having. So I don't think that it will be much different if you are able to manage those conditions good enough. The feed management is as I explained in my PPT. So it starts quite low from the beginning. And actually, you can feed according to the other line as well. Because most of your people from every country, you are familiar with such a line with not much growth before. Only in Thailand, most of the farmers are experienced in a very fast growth, like a 0.35, 0.4 gram per day. So the way they feed is already developed according to that line. But many farmers are familiar with that. So we have to bring them back to use the technique of feeding like 15, 20 years ago. So it will not much a problem for this line. Just only if there are some specific condition like under the heavy rains or you interfere the pond bottoms, maybe they stop the feeding completely for 2 or 3 days. So you have to quick to identify that and adapt accordingly. But however, if you have larger feeding area, the more better. Yeah, that is what the key point I found. This seed management, I would like to skip this because I don't think that you have to manage something super extra than what you done before. So if you are able to get success with the other line, this line you will get more easier to get success. If you not success for the other line, I believe that this line also you get success. So the seed management, it seems to be something that not serious. How to identify good, bad health or maximum yield? I think that most of the farmers are familiar with this already after a long experience. It's easy to identify. The shrimp will jump very fast, swim very fast, and their hepatopen clear still always strong. I never found the bad shrimp in my pond, even though the condition is super worse in some period of time. Effect of the climate change on aquaculture on this line, I can say that definitely climatic problems can cause a problem to our shrimp, but it can withstand wider, larger, deeper, higher than the other line. So as long as you are able to get minimum or how to call something like break even, don't need to be success from the other line, just only not super worse from the other line, you will sure to get success from this line. But if you get worse from the another line, I believe that this line will give you maybe fair result or even good result as well. Yeah, that's it, my question. My answer, sorry.
Great. Thank you very much, Danny. Some good information there. VJ, anything you'd like to touch on with any of these questions?
We already discussed about the stocking related to the water quality, sir.
Yep.
Definitely, we have to think about our facilities is the most important. Your pond size is most important. These are the concerns we have to, because if you don't have that much of good facilities, you cannot maintain the water quality. If you don't have the water quality, your stocking densities are even lesser. Also, you will have the issues. So the stocking density related to the water quality is depends on your facilities and your infrastructure and everything. And coming to the feed management, definitely go with right feeding practices. So that's why I'm telling feed has two phases, sir. One is good phase, other one is bad phase. If your pond conditions are not count on your pond conditions, if you go blindly feeding, definitely destroy your entire system. The feed management is always considered like what Mr. Danny said. Environmental factors also influence. Pond parameters also very influence to manage the feeding practices. During the summer, generally the metabolic activity of the shrimp is very high. But if you go with very high feeding rates, someday suddenly, without your pond proper shrimp toilet or something, you definitely you are losing your animals. So the ideal thing is better you have to provide uh, demand feeding and not excess feeding and not completely low. If suppose if your pond condition not good, that shrimp even cannot eat the feed. So based on these all factors, we have to adjust the feed management, and we have a research on feeding practices for suppose if we can take 100,000 animals, like 1 lakh animals, don't go beyond 40 to 45 kgs feed at any cost of time, sir, because some farmers are giving 60 kilos, 70 kilos for 1 lakh numbers. That's actually it's a lot, because when your pond get aged and aged, you have some natural biota also available, like rotifers and other things also available. So that's also acts as not only copepods. So sometimes we have, after according to your slide, pond age, I mean culture age, that means your organic matter age, sludge age, some kind of natural bacteria also develops in the system. So without feed, I'm not recommending. According to some circumstances conditions, we have to avoid it. But I don't recommend go with feed, but it should be in a demand feeding, sir. Always monitor your check trace. Always check your feed fecal matter color also. That's also gives you lot of information on your animal pattern and all. And disease management, definitely what we said, prevention is better than cure, sir. Every even for humans or this one, because why during the corona everybody wear the mask, because it's a prevention practice like that. Your disease management, you have to first where the disease comes from. Definitely majority the disease from the bacterial diseases. Once the bacterial disease, generally every shrimp has some viral this thing is with less virulence. But when shrimp with other secondary infection like bacterial infection or protozoa infection, virus can virulence will be very high. If you can lose the animals with white spot or some other kind of viral diseases. But majority things, secondary infections are mostly with protozoa and bacteria. So you have to balance your systems with maintain a good bacteria, not excess bacteria, but you have to balance the systems. And climate change, nobody can avoid the climate because we are 100. Most of the farms in the world are open ponds, not at indoor systems. But so climate conditions for particularly during the high temperatures, particularly in the saline waters, salinity will shoot up. For this to reduce these practices, keep on pumping the water, whatever it is. If it is a 30 salinity water, you keep on pumping the water. Definitely your pond never get high salinity. And at the same time, during the high temperature time, your photosynthesis rate is very high due to radiation and this thing. So this also influence. So that time you have to balance your feeding practices. and reduce the probiotic applications. This also help you to balance your primary production. The best example for a profitable farmer, if you can maintain a algal bloom from day one to harvest without algal crash, you are the most successful and profitable farmer. The prime thumb rule, if your farm get one algal crash, means definitely you have a lot of organic matter in the pond bottoms. And one algal, just imagine 1 acre of pond got algal crash means you directly dump one ton of feed. It's similar to 1 ton of feed one day. Like that, the algal crash influence your pond bottoms. You can see the EHP outbreak or white feces outbreak or necrosis outbreak after algal crash only it will happen. So particularly during the summer, keep on pumping the water to dilute the waters. So dilution is the solution concept what we are practicing. Even in India, one of our farmer in Nellore doing the same practices. He is now almost 45 days. He is reaching almost 7 to 8 grams, but still previous crops, he has some issues within the 45 days, but still he has very good condition because weekly one day we are giving fasting days, sir. Weekly one day we are giving fasting. That day we never give feed for that day. That particular day, this our Indian farmer doing 24 hours water exchange. That means he has using some 3 HP pump. You calculate your feed cost and you calculate your electricity cost because you're removing the sludge or removing the water from the pond. You have chance to add a fresh water that helps to dilute so many things. Mainly viscosity we can reduce the viscosity. When your pond has more viscosity and more concentrations, definitely you have a lot of issue. Mainly necrosis. If you can find the necrosis issue, first, you have to observe your pond water depth, sir. If you have any 4 inches to 6 inches water level decrease, you can see the necrosis. That is not at all related to the minerals issue. You just keep on pumping the water to fill the particular 6 or 4 inches. Within the next 24 hours, you cannot see this thing. But if you have high organic loads also, some kind of bacteria creates necrosis also. And your shell of the animal become very hard. So organic alone, that means sludge should be removed in any way. If you have shrimp toilet, you can remove every day. But you don't the shrimp toilet, at least weekly one day, try to remove 24 hours or 12 hours basis water exchange. That is the only thing we have. Yes, sir.
Great. Thank you very much to Vijay and Danny for answering those questions. I'm going to stop sharing. I know we are a bit over on time, 12:02, but no worries. What I'm going to do is ask the chat and see if there are any questions here. So Sunil, it looks like you have a question for Danny about the length of PLs. So let's see. Mr. Danny, you say length of PL10 is 8 millimeters. What will be number per gram or weight? Danny.
Centimeter.
Sorry?
Sorry, your question is about 0.8, that is centimeter, the length.
I believe so. And Sunil, if you want to unmute yourself and ask the question directly, you're more than welcome to. But it's in the chat right here, Danny. All it says is about length of PL10 is 8 millimeters. What will be number per gram or weight? Let's see. Sunil, maybe you can offer a little bit of clarification of what you're looking for. If not, we can, of course, reach back out and come back to you with an answer. All right. Perfect. And if there are any other questions, we'll take another 1 or 2. But if not, I know you guys are all busy. So this is the official end of our presentation. There we go. We're getting a little bit of messaging from Sunil. But yeah, real quickly, I just want to thank everyone for attending. A lot of good information from Vijay and Danny here today. We do appreciate all participation. Thank you all for your questions and comments on things that you wanted us to address. This is our first time doing this in Thailand, so I hope moving forward we can continue to address the questions you guys may have about not only the dragon line, but also general farming practices to make sure you guys are giving your animals the best chance as soon as they get into the ponds. That is the goal of this sort of seminar series. We are doing it elsewhere. This is Thailand. Maybe we do India or Indonesia next. Regardless, anyone is welcome to join and listen in on it. If you guys have people that you feel would benefit from this general conversation, please be sure to send them the link to sign up next time. There will be a recording sent out soon, as soon as this gets uploaded to our cloud and we can edit it. And then, yeah, we will be sure to send it out to everyone who signed up. So you will be able to look at it again, send it to your friends, all that good stuff. But
Thank you,
all
sir.
right,
Thank you so much.
for sure, for sure.
So good.
Good.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. And I will
Thank
end
you,
our
sir.
recording now, and we can all move on with our days. So thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you all.